Hello there. Today we are going to get cancelled and tell some facts about Pride Month. Now you can see I have this video up as a reference and it will be referenced quite a few times. In this video I tell the truth about transgenderism and trans regret. And I'm going to be talking about trans regret in this video too because there are some facts I did not mention in this video and they're actually really relevant to this. But first, let's start by just talking about Pride Month as a whole, okay? So the first thing that I hate about it is and I think a lot of them just don't comprehend this, but companies don't care about you, okay? Pride Month, when it comes to companies and selling products or changing their Twitter logo to the colors, right? They don't care about you. They are not celebrating you. They are literally using you to make money for their companies and businesses, okay? It is ridiculous to think that big corporations like McDonald's, Disney, and Walmart, for example, give a fuck about anybody in the LGBT plus label. Anybody. They don't care about you. They change colors as a business motto. Well, two reasons actually. One is a business motto, and two, because they know that if they don't change it, you'll bitch about it. Either way, though, it's not done to actually support you. It's done to get your money and pacify you. The other thing is, I am never going to acknowledge the plus, because we know that only LGBT is real and scientific. The plus is entirely made up. The plus portion was made up to create multiple other labels to make sure that as many people as possible can pick a letter for themselves to make you feel special. That's why it exists. You know just as well as I do that the people who buy into this so much and want to identify as like a freaking a car, a lamp, I'm a helicopter, or the other 1,000 genders list, you do it because you have no personality in your life, you have no life in general, you do nothing, you need to feel special and unique because you're a narcissist, so you picked you picked all these random names and labels to make yourself feel special because you know that in your own life, you're not. That's the truth about it. And that's why I will never acknowledge the plus part, because not only is it not scientific and just done to pacify egotists, but also it's the plus part that is corrupt and is pushing transitioning on kids and doing all the other crap. I believe to my core that regular, real LGBT people don't support the other stuff that we see in modern society, like pushing transitioning on children and drag queens and making kids twerk and strip and all the other ridiculous, disgusting stuff that we've seen. Watch my video, the pedophilia is becoming normalized, for proof on that, by the way. But it is the plus people doing this, and real, true LGBT people don't support it. That's the truth. And the worst thing about it isn't even that you're necessarily doing it, because I don't really care what you do. It only becomes a problem when you do things like bring it to kids or force it on people, kind of like how they non-stop force the whole pronoun thing. Force us to follow your pronouns and remember them and all this stuff, or hell, even make straight people do it. It's true. There are multiple industries and places where they'll be they'll say to anybody, even people like me, so what are your pronouns? And they expect me to say he and him. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to say that shit. Yeah, I am a he, but I'm not going to fucking put a label on it. I'm not going to actually announce it. I'm not going to promote it to people. But they want me to. They'll literally want it signed on a document or put on an online username, like your Instagram name, your Twitter name, whatever, or they'll ask you, and it's like, I don't want to buy into that shit. I'm just a person, okay? But they force these things on people constantly. And speaking of forcing, it's like, why the hell do they get a month? Granted, we know why. It's because if they didn't get a month, they would complain and not feel satisfied. They need a whole month because it takes that long to push it out there and push it on people and convert kids and all that fucking shit. It takes them time to do that. So of course they need a month. But it's totally wrong and disrespectful. For God's sakes, veterans only get one day. Veterans, Memorial Day. But no, it's the LGBT plus people who need a freaking month. And it didn't even start that way. It literally started as a day, then it was a week, and now it's a month. Think a few years back, it actually was. It's ridiculous. And the way that they do these things too, they do it because they love to pretend that they don't have equal rights, even though they know they do. They will literally complain and flat out lie and say, we still don't have equality, we're still treated like crap, we're still beaten, and it's like, by who? Sure, I'm not saying that there are not like racist, religious conservatives who fucking hate trans people, but that exists everywhere. It's like black people, for example, when they say we don't have equal rights, even though actually you're right, your rights are not equal. You actually have more rights than white people. But the point is that you are not treated badly anymore. In fact, you're treated better than white people are. But they love to pretend they're not because they have victim complexes. And just because there are some racist people in the world who don't like black people doesn't mean you're not treated equally by the overwhelming majority of the planet, as well as systematic things like in Hollywood or the school system or in jobs, etc. Affirmative action is a real thing, and that's what you got, and you've had it for a long time. Or it's like feminists, for example, still thinking that women are not treated equally, even though they are literally treated way better than men. Not better, way better. It's because these people all have victim complexes. Feminists have victim complexes, Black Lives Matter supporters have victim complexes, the trans community has victim complexes, and statistically speaking or factually speaking, it's not true and it never will be. Every industry panders towards you. Hollywood panders towards you. You're put in movies, TV shows, video games. You are literally, the concept of you, like trans lessons and teaching about transitioning and everything, is not just taught in school, but it's forced in school. You got equal rights in 2014, you still complain that they don't exist. You get a whole freaking month a year for your celebrations, while other people who are more important than you, like veterans, get less time. The truth is, you don't want to be treated equally, because you already are. You want to be treated better, just like the feminists, just like Black Lives Matter supporters. You want to be treated better, and therefore you want LGBT plus supremacy, not equality, and you fucking know it. Don't even lie. It is literally supremacy to want to push it on children, okay? We've seen multiple examples of evidence of this being pushed on kids. I've made videos about it, pushing that kids should go to these celebrations, should be involved with drag queens, should be going to drag shows, should be literally watching strippers and putting dollar bills in their bras. This is supremacy being pushed on kids, and we even literally see articles such as this one. Now, what do I say? Tory backlash as Education Secretary Gilligan backs common sense plan to let children change gender at school. Now, it's important to note though that some conservatives did lie about this article and say they're letting the teachers do it. You know, they basically think that this meme is completely true. It's that meme that says the pregnant woman says, "Is it a boy or a girl?" And the doctor says, "We'll let the kindergarten teacher decide." We see this meme everywhere. Now, is there truth to this meme? There's actually a lot of truth to this meme, but not in terms of this article. There has been articles I've seen in the past where they're literally, well, first of all, we know that teachers at school are pushing it and teaching about it to kids who are way too young to understand it, but are they actually pushing it on their lifestyle or saying, oh, keep the parents out of it? It actually is happening. I've seen some proof of this, but it's not happening as much as people think, as well as this particular article. Now, this particular article does claim straight up that the parents have to agree to it, but at the same time, that doesn't help the fact that it's still happening at school. This is something, even if the parents agree or not, it shouldn't even be happening at school in the first place. It should be happening at home. I think, and I think most people would agree, that this should only be taught by parents. It should not be taught at school, and they shouldn't be allowed to do this at school either. It's just not right. But it's also important to keep in mind that even though they claim that the parents are involved in terms of the consent for this, doesn't mean they actually are. I'm not saying for this particular article that's not the case, but I'm saying that in general, what they'll do is they'll say, oh, well, parents, as long as you give your consent, no problem. And then they do it anyway. We know, you'd have to be dumb not to realize that. They are going to lie and say that the parents are involved even though they're really not, or they'll do it behind the scenes, or they'll do it without the parents knowing, etc. It's already happened numerous times, so it's not really a surprising thing. Anyway, back to what I was saying about it being pushed on people. Just like I said about the pronoun thing, they are obsessed with this crap. And did you know that in some areas, like in Canada, for example, we can actually be charged with a crime if we don't bow down and accept anyone's pronoun, no matter how scientific it is? That is insane. Or what we see in marches like this, and this is happening a lot. This particular situation happened here in Toronto, by the way. Yay. Check this out. This is... Well, at least now they're finally admitting the truth. It's a truth that we've known for a few years now, but they're finally admitting that, yes, they are coming for our children. They've been doing this, not really in secret, but they've been doing it and then denying doing it, even though they're doing it right in front of our faces. Again, I've made videos on it. The whole thing about treating it in school, encouraging very young kids to transition. Or like I said in my transgenderism video, how they're trying to transition kids who are as young as 3 or 4 years old. This is them admitting to basically exactly that. It's fucking disgusting. Now, let's talk about detransitioning and trans regret. Now, I already mentioned it in my old video. Let me show you a clip from it, okay? Check this out. According to this one, 11% of females regret transition, and 4% of men do. And that may seem like a small percent, but let's think about this. That's 15% total people who regret it and have done irreversible damage to their bodies. Also, that's only what's reported. Consider 2 other factors. 1, there are also many others who probably didn't report it at all out of fear of being shunned or attacked. And 2, how many didn't report it due to feeling there's no point because they probably can't afford the extremely high costs for a surgery to switch back. Now, there's a very important reason why I mentioned in this video. Keep in mind, I read a study from 2015 that claims 11% of regret for females and 4% for males. Do you want to know what the updated studies show? Follow-up study of boys with gender identity disorder. Now, granted, this article only shows boys, but we can use the power of extrapolation to see what it would be approximately for girls too. But it does show. This is the biggest study yet. You might be thinking, like, well, only 139 people? Matt, that's very fucking low. Yeah, well, then again, these people account for, like, what, 0.00001% of the entire population. So, of course, 139 may sound like a small amount of people, but it's actually a pretty big study. Anyway, of the 139, 17 people, or 12%, were classified as persisters in terms of having gender dysphoria. And the other 122 people, or 87.8%, were classified as desisters. People who had dysphoria, but then stopped showing signs of dysphoria, and therefore regretted their decision to transition. Here's also a clip from a recent Blair White video, where she goes over this kid who also regretted it. Now, I know what you're thinking, Matt, this is one video. I need to see 700 videos to prove that you're right. Yeah, fuck you, okay? You need to grow the power of extrapolation and nuance in your brain, okay? Just because I'm showing you a video doesn't mean it's the only one in the fucking world. I have personally seen hundreds of these, actually. I'm just not saving all of them to my laptop, okay? What you're about to see is a very, very common thing.
This is a baby that has been medicalized and permanently physically altered before she's even a senior in high school. This is a baby.
I got on testosterone when I was 15 years old. And the thing that I think is absolutely wild is that I went to one appointment before I was given my prescription. One. You might be thinking, oh, well, they probably asked you a ton of questions. No, they barely asked me anything. I basically walked in there and was like, I'm trans. And they were like, okay. They didn't question me. They didn't sit down with me and question and talk, like, is this really what's right for you? They were just like, okay, this is the next step in your transition. We'll give it to you.
That's not surprising. That's what happens. I literally said this in my other video, the Transgenderism Truth video. And there's a clip in there of us watching the documentary What is a Woman, and this is proven. As I said in the video, and we discovered from watching the documentary as well, the reason why they're doing this is money. Every transition surgery is approximately a $70,000 profit for the pharmaceutical industry. That's actually why they're doing this. The more transition surgeries that they do, the more money they get. That's all it's about. It's not about finding people who have actual problems with their bodies and dysphoria and their psychological. Let's help these people. We need to help them. No, it's about getting money. And we've already seen evidence from that. And the evidence here is very simple. They're pushing it, not just pushing it in general, but pushing it quickly. She had one consultation with the doctor. One. And they said, well, time to fucking, like, the faster they push it, the more money they make. That's the truth. That is the truth. That is the factual truth here. And it's disgusting. Anyway, that's the truth about Pride Month, and a little extended proof about transgenderism and trans regret from my original video. Please watch that video too if you have not seen it before. It's on my channel. It is an FTR. Again, just to remind you, we are talking about this video here. Check it out. Learn, educate yourself about the truth. And happy Pride Month to all of you.